I think this is the most important presidential election of my lifetime because I am now a parent. My mom first engaged in early childhood work more than 40 years ago when she was a law student. And her first job after law school was working for the Children's Defense Fund. And at the Children's Defense Fund, she worked on a number of areas, but one of her core areas of work was being part of a big team trying to figure out why so many kids weren't in school. And what they found was that so many kids weren't in school because of mental or physical disabilities, and that there weren't the public school services to support children with mental and physical disabilities to be able to live up to their God-given potential or get an education in an environment of dignity that any of us would hope for our children. Many of the children who had mental disabilities, in particular back in the early 1970s, were victims of lead poisoning. So what's happening in Flint, sadly what's also happening in Cleveland and Philadelphia, now as we're finding out in Newark and elsewhere, is deeply personal to my mom. And so my mom began work then that very much continues to motivate her and is one of the reasons that she's running for president, to provide every child the ability to live up to their potential, and recognizing that that commitment has to start about now. That if we wait until kindergarten, that's too late. We have to ensure that women have every prenatal service possible. And for people who say the Affordable Care Act hasn't mattered, that's just not true. More American women than at any point in American history last year accessed and took advantage of full prenatal services and delivered children in safe settings. So that's the impact of the Affordable Care Act. So healthcare and finishing the work that President Obama has started with the Affordable Care Act is part of this conversation too. I remember my mom working really hard when I was growing up. She's always worked really hard, and yet I never doubted I was the most important person in the world to her.